is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and like every community, AAPI communities have unique pressures around mental health and mental illness. May is also Mental Health Awareness Month, and today Lena Lee with Stop Stigma Sacramento is here to share her own personal experience and why mental illness is not always what you think. Hi, Lena.
Hi.
So May is both AAPI Heritage Month and an annual time where we really highlight and create more awareness around mental health. Tell us about your experience as a first-generation Chinese American.
Sure, I struggled with feeling left out as a child. I was the only Chinese person in my whole school. I was made fun of and people called me chink, told me to go back home, and also stole money from me. Maybe it was my accent, my mismatched clothes, being poor, or just not understanding the social norms. But all I ever wanted was to have a group of friends call my own. My parents came to America with only $200 in their pocket, and they didn't even know their ABCs. They worked really hard, saved a lot of money, sent us to college, and provided us with better futures. I tried to be respectful to my parents, but they were so hard to please. I felt like I was never good enough. Their expectations made it even harder for me to talk to them about my mental health. Everyone has a different immigration story, but one thing we have in common is that Asian Americans are the least likely to seek help. Some factors are stigma, saving face, shame, language barriers, lack of understanding, and access to resources. There are Chinese support groups, Asian therapists, and free wellness classes right here in Sacramento.
Well, I'm sure that some of those experiences you mentioned have played a role in your mental health, and now you're part of the Stop Stigma Speakers Bureau. So you've regularly shared this story about your experiences with mental illness right here in Sacramento County. But I want to know, how has the pandemic and recent anti-Asian hate incidents, how's that impacted your mental health as well?
Well, the pandemic has definitely been difficult on my mental health because I'm an extrovert and I love socializing. I had to be proactive and make sure I saw my therapist and psychiatrist regularly. I love talking to my therapist. She is so awesome and helpful. I also started hosting a game night on Zoom and even created my own support group. We meet every week and share about how we're doing and talk about mental health services here in Sacramento. As Asians, we've been taught to be the model citizen, and sometimes that meant being quiet and suffering through the discrimination. It's been so traumatizing that the pandemic and also the anti-Asian hate crimes have been so scary. I worry about my kids going to school. I even worry about my grandma when she goes get groceries, because senior citizens have become an easier target. It saddens me to see what the world is coming to. That is why it's so important to take care of yourself and get the help you need.
Yeah, we're looking at some pictures of you and your family there. So what do you do to take care of your mental health? What helps you?
The most important thing for me is that I get 8 hours of sleep and I exercise daily. Having a strong support system, going to therapy, seeing my psychiatrist is essential. Many people are experiencing symptoms of mental illness and they try to self medicate and drink to help themselves feel better. It is very important not to mix alcohol with your medication or your treatment may not work. I also attend free wellness classes here in Sacramento. I go biking with my family and I organize community events. These are just some of the tools that work for me, but everyone's different, and it's important to figure out what works for you and your mental health.
Yeah, those tools are so important and helping people maintain a healthy mindset. Now, shed some light on the mental illness It's Not Always What You Think project that's happening here in Sacramento County.
Sure, the project was initiated by Sacramento County Behavioral Health, and their goals are to decrease stigma and discrimination, promote awareness, and inspire hope for families living with mental illness. See, mental illness does not care if you're white, black, or Asian, rich or poor, male, female. It impacts all ages and all races. Research shows that it usually takes 10 years before someone seeks help for their mental illness. As a member of the Speakers Bureau, I get the privilege of speaking at a variety of events and sharing my journey through mental health. We're always looking for more churches, schools, government agencies, nonprofits, and community organizations to speak at. You can even request for a free speaker at stopstigmasacramento.org.
Now, as a member of the Stop Stigma Speakers Bureau, and I know you've been part of it for a while, how does sharing your story help you and others?
It helps me feel like I'm not all alone. That makes a difference by sharing my story. I get a lot of encouragement from the attendees, and they really appreciate my honesty. I share my story to help others find recovery. You may feel like you're all alone, that nobody understands what you're going through, but you're not alone. 1 out of 5 adults will experience a mental illness in their lifetime. That's 61 million people. Join me and stop the stigma.
Is there anything else that you want to share with our audience about addressing mental health issues, or what they can do if they feel like they're struggling?
I think for if you have a family member or friend that's struggling, it's very important to be there with them, listen them through it, don't judge them. Also, one of the biggest helpful things you can do is help them look for a therapist, going through the long list of providers, calling them, following up with them, helping them make an appointment with their psychiatrist. Those two bigs are major steps of getting wellness.
Very good. Lena Lee, thanks so much for sharing some of your story with us this morning. If you want to learn more about this campaign to support mental health and wellness, visit stopstigmasacramento.org.